Listeners, everyone, and viewers, welcome back to another dope episode of the Full Time Dope podcast with my homies, Jamie, Kisharo, Kwame. Um, this episode actually um, is a bit different than the other ones. And I say that because one of our fellow Eagles has transitioned and transitioned on to the next level of life. And I just want to take a second to give condolences to Better Caesar's family, her friends, and her sorors as well. I actually just found out. Actually had no idea,
Mhm.
um, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably just found out as well. So I just want to take time to highlight that and put that and give that a platform. So, fellas, if you want to say something,
Yeah, rest in peace, Beta. She was Alpha Lambda, Fall 99. She was just a spectacular person. When you met her, you knew her. Everybody was her friend. I
Mm-hmm.
I believe she left behind a 13-year-old son. I
yeah,
Yep.
believe she had been sick for a while, so it wasn't COVID related. I would imagine I think it was her lungs separate apart from that. So um, condolences to the family. She was an amazing woman, and we're going to miss her.
She was like, I'll just piggyback off of that. She was definitely like just a breath of like fresh air. Always positive, always
Hmm.
smiling. Never had like a negative thing to say about anybody. Like anytime you saw her, she would just light up. She just had that energy about her. So she's definitely gonna be missed. So I guess we got another angel watching over us. So definitely condolences to the family. Alpha Lambda 499. Our hearts and prayers with everybody. So.
Yep.
Yeah, almost my condolences as well. Like I said, it's been a while since I last talked to Beta, but of course, when I last talked to her, like y'all just already said, she's always nice, smiling, very positive person. So, like I said, I just wanted to just send my condolences as well.
And one of the coldest names out there, man. BETA, Beta Caesar.
oh yeah,
You ain't gonna
never,
forget that. Tom
Yeah,
Jones. No, brother.
never, you never
yeah,
forget
Beta
that
Well,
Caesar.
ever, man.
Woo.
definitely.
Rest in
Rest in
peace,
peace.
lady. So, fellas, quickly, real quick. I just want to. I got to bring this to the forefront. I had this really interesting conversation with one of my female friends last night, late last night, and she was calling me for some male advice.
Hmm.
Her ex, she and her ex split, and she mentioned to me one of the issues he had was that he couldn't handle. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. But he had an issue with her making significantly more money than he did.
Poor fella.
Significant? What's significant? I
Shit.
bet she didn't tell your amount.
I
Well,
can't
put it
wait.
this way. She could cover the bills twice.
Gosh,
Right.
ooh,
Okay. That's what we in here for.
okay.
You
So
boys and your fragile male egos will soon learn
exactly.
what I'm
Right.
exactly.
talking about.
So just a quick question. Could you all handle your significant other making yeah, Jay, I see your hand making
Jamie
significant
ready, boy.
make,
Come on,
So
making
for the
Stedman.
listeners out
Come on,
here,
Stedman.
making
they call me young
significantly
Stedman Graham. Your boy does not
significantly
have
more
a
money.
fragile male ego, and I'm out here empowering, however you say it, my lady to make more money than me. My lady's name is Faith Bottom. She owns a CPA firm. We're trying to get her out there to make some money for the family. Now my broke ass can't get it up quite yet, but we got to get somebody out here to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not that. It's like, yo, they're smarter than us. If you could admit that, then you got the rest of the game on lock. I
But
mean,
that's the problem. They don't want to admit that.
oh shit, your boy will admit it off rip. My intentions were to date. My whole life was always to date a lady that was smarter than me. I'm not as smart as I appear. You can check out the first episode. Your boy is not that bright, but I'm bright enough to know that I should date someone smarter than me who potentially can make more money than me.
That all right, there it is. You don't have a problem with it at all, bro.
Young Stedman has spoken.
Kisharo, Kisharo, give me what you got. What you got?
Yeah, absolutely not. I have absolutely no problem with that at all. I think as long as I'm bringing something to the table, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I could not do anything, you know, but hey, make your money. You know what I mean? Your money is our money. And hopefully, you know, she got it
I
like
thought
that.
that's
She
what we
making it
said,
like that.
right? Your money's our
Exactly.
money.
Exactly. Hopefully she can, you know, empower me, you know, and uplift me in some ways to make more money. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm all for it.
No doubt. So
Gotta
let me
think
ask, so
smarter,
so first,
boys.
so I think the issue that she mentioned with him, he felt like it changed the dynamic of the power in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not like on, hey man, take that damn trash out. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. But like, I think he was insecure anyway before she
Yeah,
even met him. I just think he was insecure. So
which is
Right.
not uncommon.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Sure ain't.
Quan, what you got?
Nah, I don't have the issue with that at all. I mean, I learned that you have plenty of things to be mad about, and that's not one of them in my opinion. And like I said, yeah, I mean, it was, if she's happy and she's enjoying what she's doing, it had nothing to do with me as far as me feeling bad about it. That's more stuff that we can do together. That's how I look at it.
Boy, look at your outcome now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, well, we're not struggling to get to this next trip we're going to do, whatever and stuff. That doesn't mean I'm not going to contribute anything, but yeah, I have no issue with it at all. I think the only thing that I would have an issue with, and it's not her making more money, is the fact that if that person throws it in my face as if, you know what I'm saying, to remind me, and not to say I'm not doing anything, but just to kind of let me know, like, yo, like she's that chicken, you know what I mean? And it may be the case. I may feel a way about that. But outside of she's, humble and we cool and we just like getting along, whatever and stuff, and she is having to make, a significant amount of more money than I do, then, yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. Hey, that's what it is, man. Like you said, black women are way more educated than probably anybody,
Right.
any
By and
demographic out
large.
there. That's including white men and white women. So,
Right.
hey, it's
Right.
there. That's what it is.
Yeah, I listen. I echo everything all y'all said. I agree too. I don't have a problem with it. What's that? What 2 Chainz say? Look at you and look at us. All my look riches. That's us.
Rich as fuck. So
That's
you
right.
picking the first, picking the wrong problem to have. Having the first world problem, like my lady makes more money than me. You got to be a stupid person to let that bother you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
also,
The
like you said
game is
too,
to be rich, not to be mad because your lady rich. We rich. I thought we
exactly.
was
It's
in this
we.
together.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
you said too, you said he may have already had some insecurities anyway.
Oh yeah.
So if an insecure dude come into a situation like that, it's
Mm-hmm.
bound to go left.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Yeah. Quick
Yeah.
too.
True.
Quick
True.
too.
That is a thing.
So listen. Speaking of left and right
And up and
Boy,
down.
that's a hell of a goddamn segue, man.
Yeah, it
and up
is.
and
Hand
down,
clap,
y'all.
brother. Hand clap. Boy,
Hey,
that's a hell of a segue.
So then
hey,
golf clap
hey,
right there.
hey, fellas. Post-election views, man. We got to talk about. I
Yeah,
know it's
buddy.
still some stuff just going on. Uh, Trump turning the lights out, the White House running around in the dark, and all this other kind of shit. Like, what's going on? What's I don't even know where to start.
Well, let's start at the pink cow in his living room.
Yeah,
I mean, there's 2 things we could start with. One, we know that America is racist as fuck, and it's like
Yes.
they don't care. These poor white folk would throw themselves in front of a moving train just to prove that I guess they would have have more money or they're better than us. I'll show you. And it's like to their own detriment. And that's the sad part. The other part is that, yeah, we did vote and we voted early in a pandemic. So much so that they have to still count millions of votes where normally they would only count hundreds of thousands.
right.
And we have to recognize that numbers matter. So a million is significantly more than 100,000, right? So
Yeah.
we just throw these numbers around like, give me $1 million, but that's a lot of money. And in this case, it's a lot of votes. So there will be votes counted. I mean, they even have rules where you can't count until the day of. Imagine you have to start at 1 going to 3 million the day of versus where some other county has already, say California, they already counted. Like we already know what it is.
Yeah.
So these old antiquated electoral systems need updating. And I think that goes back to us getting rid of these boomers. Y'all got to go. Golly, y'all in the way.
Hey, they hanging on. They trying to
Technology would handle this in seconds where we're physically counting shit. What the fuck? What are we doing, man?
It's crazy,
Yeah, that's
man.
true. That's
You're
true.
right, though. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it's a lot. Like you said, it's a lot. You don't know where to begin at. Jamie definitely hit the nail on the head with the fact it's the system. First of all, like if you go anywhere else, it's no popular vote. Anything else is a popular vote. Who you get more votes, you win.
Right.
And I understand, saying the electoral college system is supposed to give the smaller states an opportunity to be represented and all that, but a lot of things need to be updated.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're already going to do electoral votes, then at least go to the system like Nebraska and was it Maine, where they actually
Have
so you win like the districts between
the
there.
districts, right?
So yeah, so you don't get the whole state, whatever.
You get a
So if you
district
won
vote.
that's in the district. If you get like 7 districts out of it and the other one get 5, you count the districts that go towards,
Right.
that voted for you. So then that also gives the candidate the opportunity to actually be in some of those states to actually win those votes. It changes the whole system versus if you already know you're going to lose Tennessee, there's no point going to Tennessee. Like, why are you going to go there and campaign there?
Did not go to California.
But if you can go to Tennessee and also win, if it's like 20 counties, and you can win like 5 or 6 counties, it may be worth you going in there to get those 5 or 6 counties. You know what I mean? So it changes the ball game and of how you can get these votes. Either way, they need to change that system first of all.
Yeah.
The other thing is the fact that Jamie also said this too already. Like I said, it shows you just how blatant racist this country is. And to the point where you got this man who, I mean, if he didn't already, like I said, wasn't privileged to be, I guess coming to money or have his dad have money or basically be born on third base to already be at home.
Right.
It's nothing about him is spectacular. He's not smart. He can barely say vocabulary past a 5th grader. His temperament is like of a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And he insults people every chance you get. He's been proving that he's racist, and he has no plan for anything. There's no plan. Even talking about the pandemic, he talks in generalities. Oh, we got a vaccine coming soon, or we're gonna do it. Or we run a corner.
He talks like a salesman.
That's all he does. And then when you ask him and push him for direct answers, he can't give it to you. Then he lashes out to you or call you names and everything else. So it's just like everybody can see this time and time again to the point there. The country's been immune to it, unfortunately. And then you got the people who vote for him for any cause where they make excuses for anything that he does, even to their own detriment. Like, why are you in Kentucky voting for stuff to be against your own interests?
Your own interest.
But you know what your interest is? The fact that you like the fact that he talked about closing borders and like all this patriot stuff and like the 1619 project is all, you know what I'm saying, is people who's not patriots, and all that stuff. And you feed into that more so your health care, more so than you earning more money. All the things that will obviously make your quality of life a lot better. All in the back burner because you got these racist people who are falling behind this guy who always flaming this negative heat, whatever. So it's just disappointing. Rhetoric. Even if Biden does win, disappointing.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's very disappointing.
The problem, Trump's whole presidency, for me, it's indicative of like the agenda for this country. Like, okay, Jamie has his own business. I'm almost certain Jamie has a mission statement, right?
Yeah.
Or some form of mission statement. So
we have a mission statement.
Yeah. And what's the premise of a mission statement for a company or a corporation? The mission statement basically it underscores the services that's going to be provided from the time the business is initiated until the time it moves on. And part of the problem is that the freaking Constitution is the mission statement for America. America's a corporation. That's the only document that's never been modified. And it was written to exclude everyone except for white folks. My point is this.
White men, specifically.
White men, powerful white men, right? So the thing is, it's cultish because there's no way in hell you can be dirt poor and you still, the premise, the poor white man.
Keep going. Ain't no way.
He doesn't speak their language financially, but that's just how evasive he is and how powerful the element of white supremacy and also entitlement is. You see what I'm saying? So his presidency is the perpetuation of white male dominated supremacy and to exclude any elements of minorities in this country. And that's the problem we have with these damn baby boomers. They're part of that entitlement. They're trying to clinch on to the last bits of life to have some form of control. There's no way, no offense, that you're 89, 879, 80, 75 years old. You should still be holding some type of office or whatever the case may be.
Go sit down, grandma.
Yeah.
Or great granny. I mean,
And
Diane,
then,
I said it last episode. I think her name is Feinbaum. Could be Feinstein, I
oh yeah,
believe.
yeah.
She's 89. So
Yeah.
like you were saying, she's 89. What are you doing?
Yeah, and then we can go on in terms of the you know, rules being rigged and him getting rid of these sorting machines in the post offices, and then placing one drop off box like miles from the other ones and trying to tweak the rules and stuff like that, and the electoral college, all this stuff. I think
Disgusting, man.
it is, man. It is, man. Kashara, what you got?
No, y'all pretty much summed it up. It's just everything y'all saying is draining. It's mentally draining. Like I was telling somebody, I was talking to one of my colleagues today, and I was saying how I went to bed last night, and I was just like, I can't look at no more. When I get up in the morning, whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. So when I got this morning and saw everything that was going on, we were talking, and she said to me, she was like, it's like sitting waiting to get your STD results to find out what's going on. And I was like, you know what? That's funny, but it's true. It's like
It's true as I don't know.
just come on, let's just come on and just get this over with. It's just, and I
Get
think
it
Kwame
over
said
with.
this. Yeah, Kwame said this last week. That made me think about something. You said something to the effect like anybody who will vote for Trump. You said make you look at them differently or make you think about who they
Of
are.
course I would. Exactly.
What
Like
do
I
you?
said,
Yeah.
yeah, it tells you what you think about somebody as a person and what they think about you. And a lot of people who think like that, I'm not saying all white people, or because black people vote for them too, but I'm just going to focus on the white people right now. It's the fact that, like, yo, they are cool if you, some of them act cool with you as long as you stay in your place in a sense, whatever and stuff. So you can talk about surface stuff, about, like sports or,
Right.
the weather or whatever it is.
Very surface stuff.
Very, those things, and that's fine. But as soon as, you know what I'm saying, if it's something traumatic that happened to anybody else, when it happened to a black person, whether they're getting killed or, anything that's just not right, it's obviously not right. Then
Or
all of
we're
a
in a
sudden,
damn pandemic. We're in a pandemic.
yeah, they don't understand it. They don't understand, like, well, he had to do something or she had to do something to cause this. You know what I mean? And it's the excuse. I'm like, yo, like, how take the race out of it? Like, that, what's wrong is wrong.
That's
you
the
know
person.
what I mean?
That's a whole
You know what I'm
person.
saying? So you falling behind this guy who, and it's like, it's this close, like you said, on a pandemic. So imagine if this wasn't a pandemic, Trump would have won the landslide.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because we struggling in a pandemic where he had no plan.
None.
Whatever.
Still don't have a plan.
It was no national plan. He let every state fend for themselves. So that's equivalent to a person saying you're going to war, but because I like certain states, I will help out. I would give, like,
Alabama, Mississippi,
Florida, Texas. I give them all the equipment and resources to go fight this war. But if you're in California, New York, or whatever, Maryland, or any states, I'm not going to give you so much funding. If you're a president, you're president of the whole nation, not certain states.
That's right.
And he's been so divisive, man. It's just so freaking sickening. And so if you can back that, yo, man, I got nothing for you, man.
And even with women, women of color who are powerful, or women in general, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be wrong, but I think he definitely has an issue with women. That's part of the issue.
Well, let me say this. Keep your thought. Remember this, y'all. America is 1,000,000 times more sexist than it is racist.
Definitely.
All right, so I'm sorry.
And that's and to speak to that point, that's a good point, Jamie. Which I think we all know. We all have an idea of that's just how he is. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he had like 12 to 15 sexual assault charges going into the White House. Now he's in it's in the 20s now.
Easily.
Yeah, easily. And part of that divisive, it's not just a racial divide. It's a sexist divide. And I want to point this point out too. I'm going to switch gears. I want to follow up with something Kwame said. A few days ago, I got a friend of mine, a female chick. She's black, lives in D.C., who voted for Trump. She told me a few days ago. She was gonna vote for him. And I said, what? I said, well, just let me hear your story. She's I think she's in mental health. Um, she's a therapist, a mental therapist, and she has 2 kids. And what she was saying was because her kids are home, because she's seeing personally seeing the effect that not being able to go to school, kids not being able to execute social skills like that. She feels as if Trump is, because he doesn't want to mandate mask wearing, and he wanted to. If I'm not mistaken, he was for the herd immunity. Everybody just get out here. Whatever happens,
And
happens.
just
Right?
die off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Strong survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her foundation in the mental health field, and that, and having kids, and seeing and having to deal with kids and all this other kind of stuff, I guess they come to her practice. She felt like Biden and Kamala weren't in tune with that. And I said, well, let me ask you this. Well, I'm not gonna go into it because we can be all night. But anyway, my point is, I just didn't feel like that was valid enough. I understood it and I respected it, but I'm like, this is based on science. Stay
Yeah,
your
these
ass
things don't
home.
matter. These things don't
Yeah,
add up.
yeah, it's not a mandate. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, but it's
She's
draining.
ill informed. She's just making
Yeah.
in my opinion, she's making a poor decision because clearly the current president ain't gonna do shit for you.
He
But
has
you
And
don't
he
want to keep the
hasn't.
other one.
Exactly, he hasn't.
It's
he doesn't
been
have a
4 years, y'all. We don't get them 4 years back.
That's right, at all.
That's what
A
I'm saying.
long 4 years.
And he tore a lot of
Three,
stuff
I'm
up.
sorry, three, not even 4 yet.
Well,
Like
Yeah.
that. Not a
It's
full
been a
4.
long 3.5 years that he's been doing. Like I said, he tore everything. Anything progress you made, he went in the opposite direction. It seemed like and everything. And like with Jermaine had just said, I know somebody who worked for like I think she's a scientist, the Department of Health Service or something like that. I can't remember exact agency that she worked for the federal government. She's high up, and she was one time telling me, my wife, the difference of when Obama was in presidency and how they followed the science and trying to go for the facts. She said once Trump came over, a lot of people, first of all, they either trying to like transfer out from the department or retire. The
Oh
people
my
close to
God.
retiring, whatever. A lot of people left, but some people,
It's
everybody
called an
can't leave because
indicator.
people have to work and stuff like that too as
Yeah.
well. But she was saying that the whole protocol had just changed. Like it went from following the science to following what their agenda was, and you had to find things based off what he wanted to be put out there, and if
Right.
it didn't meet that, then it was against. So it was like it wasn't naturally, well, this works or this
A
don't
failed
work.
hypothesis.
Yeah, you have to
Research.
follow whatever, and that's how they've been working. That's how they've been doing for all the departments. If it don't fit his agenda, what it is, then you against that, and that's a problem.
All those
So
PhDs gone to waste.
that's what I'm saying. And we following this guy who hasn't done no type of civil service. That should be a requirement too. Like you should be able to have to serve on some kind of level, whether it's local, statewide, before you actually be serving that type
The
of
whole
position.
president, this dude has
You're a
done
whole president. You
nothing.
never serve nobody but yourself. But now we listen to this fool who got no type of real education. All he's been basically just spoon fed because he's been a silver spoon in his mouth. And now, and he's a good salesman, like Jamie had just said earlier.
He's actually a horrible salesman.
Yeah.
His style of sale is I'll wear you down. It's all styles, different styles.
He's consistent.
Value and value just wear you down.
And Kwame, you're right. There was this scientist who worked for the Department of Health in Florida. She was actually fired by the Trump administration for not manipulating numbers, COVID numbers.
Black lady?
White lady.
I thought I saw that black lady do.
Yeah, he does across the board, man. If you're not with him, man, then it's like you're against him. And it's like you see all the different changes he had. He comes in this office that have the most, like he had been married 3 times, got all these he got allegations, his freaking porn
Paid
stars,
$300,000.
everything is
Paid $300,000 for Stormy Daniels. I think he paid her off like $200.
No, it was 150, Doc. It wasn't 300.
I thought he gave it.
He got a deal. He got a deal. She got a steal. She had a deal with that little
She talked about him bad in the book too. She was like,
"He lying." I mean, these people aren't lying.
This freaking man been impeached and everything, man. But
that white privilege is a motherfucker.
It's
sickening, president.
And we still here waiting, just trying to figure out what's going on. We still waiting right now to figure out when this thing gonna be over with.
Because we're in a pandemic. Normally we would have had votes counted, but they've literally had to be mailed in and dropped off, and they have to physically count.
And that's what narcissists do. He's a severe narcissist.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. But as you can tell, we all got a lot of trauma dealing with this, and we don't know how the outcome going to be. So it's tough. You can tell if we sounded like we in our feelings about it, because we are. And
You
so,
should too.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's
we are. You
ridiculous. This
should be
made no
too.
sense, man. Like right is right
It
and wrong
doesn't.
is wrong. So, but anyway, we can move on to the next thing. Next topic, we kind of want to just kind of jump into is the effects of like childhood trauma for Black boys, or men, and why people don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But and I want to put out here before, I know trauma happens to everybody, every color, every race, women, whatever. But we focus on Black men because we 4 Black men on this podcast, and we want to be the focus right now. So, so Jermaine, what's your thoughts about like trauma in the Black community for Black men?
Oh man, I have a lot of thoughts on it. But I'll begin with this. Um, I think what goes unnoticed is a lot of times in the Black family, we develop post-traumatic stress at a young age, just dealing with community. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
like what we see in our communities. And a lot of times too, I think what goes unnoticed is, a lot of times our parents didn't get they didn't get training on one trying how to raise us, how to deal with issues and all this other kind of stuff. More so, the single parents. So they did what they did the best they can do with what they had. But I say that to say how they handled things, we kind of adapt to that. You know, if you're a male coming up in a home with a single mother, single parent who's a female, then you can take on how she dealt with issues as a man, whether it be um, emotional or whatever the case may be, and vice versa. But
Mm-hmm.
I think what needs to be understood too is that it happens early, and also too, if I'm not mistaken, I think the research shows that by 18 years old, if when a male has experienced mental issues or emotional issues, whatever the case may be, they're less likely to seek help between 18 and 25 years old, because now they have to come into a different type of manhood. I mean, there's transition to a different type of malehood. They're around more friends who appear not to have
Right.
these issues, so they're putting on the front.
Yeah.
Now you're going into you're approaching 30. You still haven't dealt with it. Now you have a relationship, and you're not functioning like you should within that relationship. So
Mm-mm.
it's a huge trickle down effect, and in the Black community, it's shunned upon to get help, right? You're
Right.
looked at as unhealthy or you're psychotic if you don't. When damn near all of us need some sort of counseling, right?
Mhm.
Counseling something. But
Yeah.
I just think it's dangerous. It can be dangerous if it's not if it festers, um, and if we don't come to terms with it and say, hey, I need to deal with these things, especially with a parent um, don't relinquishing their right to take care of a child or whatever the case may be, and some other issues that can happen too. But it's definitely something that if it's not, I believe if it's not taken care of, it can be radioactive, and it can come out in multiple ways
Mm-hmm.
negative. So
Mm. Jay, what about you, man? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I believe in situational things, but by and large, we're kind of more of the same that we're not. In this particular case, your story may be, of course, different than mine because it didn't happen in, say, Red Springs, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to childhood trauma, and it depends on how heavy it is or how you handled it. And I think a lot of it in this particular case, in my life, I didn't have any quote unquote childhood trauma because I had a lot of male figures in my life. I had a grandfather that stayed 2 doors down. I had a stepfather. He was bad, but he was still there. And I had Black male teachers. I had plenty of Black men in my church and in the choir. So I was always surrounded by Black men, coaches. They were always there. Where they're not as available in some other places now. But in my little town, in my little county, North Carolina, it actually worked for me. So trauma-wise, it was that my actual father wasn't there, but that nigga didn't need to be there no damn way because that shit wasn't gonna work out. So it's a lot of trauma that we can get over and by as adults, but as kids, as a child, I did wonder why my father wasn't with my mother. It's because they were young and they made a child. It wasn't because they were in love and had intentions of being married. Because in the long run, it wasn't gonna work out because they were still very young when they had me. So it was not a short game; it's a long game. Like, what's the long game? They're not gonna stay together, fool.
Yeah,
and that's my childhood trauma. But thankfully, I did have a lot of male. I was exposed early, and I saw a lot of male figures, and they taught me how to be a man. Because you have to be taught how to be a man. It's not natural. Because we have our cultures and our traditions and our ways. I'll bring this up often. We are from the South in America, right? It'd probably be different. I was in Ghana, clearly. It'd probably be different. I was in South Africa. But we are talking about, what the trauma was to me. And it was just, in my opinion, me not having a father. But I soon found out, I was like, oh, yeah, that nigga didn't need to be in your life no damn way. That's a wild motherfucker. And thankfully, the things that I pull from him is that I am an entrepreneur like him, but I don't have, tons of kids out here. And I am, being a man of my word. We made our peace. Thankfully, we made our peace when I moved to Durham because he has one of his businesses in Durham. So I made my peace with him when I got to meet him. Like, oh, you ain't shit, nigga, no damn way. So I don't want that in my life every day.
Yeah.
I got over that trauma real goddamn quick. Like, oh, thank you.
I remember
Jesus,
that.
I wouldn't ride your ass.
Yeah, that's funny. But you know what's so funny though? Like you said, like you don't really realize how things affect you until you get a little bit older and you can reflect on what took place. And it's so funny. I had talked to my cousin, and she was telling me how this dude she used to date, all this trauma that he had dealt with as a kid growing up, and she was telling me how he was like one of 6 kids, and all his siblings got different dads. The mama was out there a whole lot. Actually, she said that she was a prostitute as well, and a lot of things that he dealt with a lot of abuse, like physical abuse, from like I guess she said the grandmother, because I think the mom had kids when she was like 14, starting at 14, so she had like 6 kids between 14 going up. So that means she was in the streets a whole lot in the first place, and so grandma was like watching the kids, but the grandma was very abusive as well. And I'm sure the mom was abused too as well. So it's almost like a generation chain reaction was going on. And like I said, his dad wasn't around as well. So all this stuff is coming through. He watched some man broke his mom's jaw. And he was saying that also some of the things too, she watched how her mother always put men before the kids. So like they may go without stuff, but she'll make sure that man in her life at that time is getting his food, getting this, getting the big piece of chicken, getting everything, and they getting the scraps of what's left over. So you growing up with this upbringing, and you're come to a grown man. So now you don't even know how to do it, and you never got no treatment, no help with this, no therapy, anything with this, and you go into these other relationships. It's not going to, you're not gonna know how to deal with certain things in the right way, and you can go through traumatic situations, and you get the right help or counseling or either self-reflection that you do, and you might be able to mitigate a lot of those issues. But if it's untapped and you're not just dealing with it, or you're unaware of what's going on, then that can be, that could be a train wreck whatever relationship you had. You know what I mean? So she was telling me the time where they went out, she took him out, she treated him to a nice restaurant. Some Italian restaurant, had a good time, everything was cool, and so it was kind of one of the things when it came back, whatever, he went, took a shower and everything else, And so when she had also got him a gift on top of them going out, and she said in her mind it was just too much for him. Like, yo, you being too nice to me,
You're
whatever.
being too nice.
And he don't know how to accept that. So
I
when
saw that on the Wire where Cuddy was being too nice to Michael. He just couldn't understand it because he hadn't been.
There you go. So it's the exact same thing. And I'm gonna tell you one. So she told me like several different episodes of different things that took place. And he starts to like, well, damn, you only had one bar of soap. What's going on here? So like what's going on? And she's like, well, damn, we talking about a bar of soap like that. But like he grew up not having anything. So of course in his house, if he got 20 bars of soap. So if you got one or two, you're freaking like, so you're not being responsible. And he turned his whole thing into how she put him before her own kids. And she's like, nigga, I'm not giving you nothing because, before my kids, I'm just being nice to you.
Right.
He doesn't have the emotional maturity or the emotional stability to be able to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's been time on and time again. So I say all this to say that like a lot of times if you're not getting that help or really understanding, like, yo, that it plays over and over to other relationships. It don't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be even a friend or friend relationship. You're like, you don't know how to treat people,
a coworker relationship.
Yeah, worker,
any
anything.
type of relationship.
Yeah, so
even with your kids, if you got kids, it can actually come out.
There you go.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So I just ought to say, like I said, like if it's certain stuff, man, I think we just got to, trying to, it's kind of hard. 'Cause I think we're not as men, we're not used to going to the doctor like we're supposed to. We talked about it earlier in the early episodes and going to therapy and all that. My bad, Jermaine. Go ahead. What you about to say?
No, I'm sorry. I was gonna make this point. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. I was gonna say too. Something else to think about is this: as growing up as boys, we are taught to be Trojans. If you bump your head, stop crying. You know what I'm saying? Your sister bump her head. Oh, look at she's pampered and stuff like that. Or a little girl bumps her head, and you fall down. Oh, you need to get a couple stars on you to welcome, to knight you into manhood. But we're conditioned like that, and we're conditioned to suppress our feelings. If you're in the back seat as a kid and you're crying, it's be quiet, shut up. You can't express that. That's a form of expression. Even if the kid is just acting out, they should be allowed to cry, get it out. I know it's annoying, but you can't just interrupt that form of expression. So and then you grow up and you have this trauma and you're conditioned to suppress it. Then you meet somebody as an adult. That's right. And you meet someone as an adult, and then they want to give you a foot rub or back rub and you reject it because it's foreign. You see how inverted trauma becomes? It inverts everything. So what's good is bad and what's bad is good. And that's how the people we see normalcy through is if it doesn't align with how we feel or what we know, it's not normal. And it's everything is so inverted and screwed up. And I experienced that with someone I was dating. I won't say the name, but initially that's what happened. That's what happened. Everything I tried to do that I thought I should have been doing was rejected initially. And in my mind, I'm like, damn, what's going on? So it's real, man. It's real, though. It's real.
It's generational too, what you were just saying about how we're taught to be tough, don't cry, don't express yourself. That's generational. Like it goes back all the way back.
Yeah. And Kashara, really quickly to that point, because I know you guys say something too. When you talk about just like credit, our parents got what I know for me, my parents got what their parents taught them. Their parents got what they taught them. I really didn't start understanding why I would hear my mom say it in high school and freshman year of college, keep your credit good and keep it stable. But I didn't learn that until I didn't learn how it worked. Like
that's a different
how
thing.
the moving parts until like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, okay, let me get on this. And now I see just how it relinquishes so many, it kicks in so many different doors. But even with raising kids, when you don't have a certain amount of tools, you got to work with what you have, and you pass down what you know. You can only pass down what you know. So, you got to think about this, y'all. Coming up, when we came up pushing the 80s, late 70s, pushing to the 80s, we came up and all through the 70s, not all, but the majority of the homes were single parent homes. So you had a woman under stress, trying to work, trying to bring in all these things, multiple kids, and trying to actually live some type of normal life. Now, I'm not gonna say that a lot of the children were treated indifferently, but I think they just did what they had to do just to survive that one to get by the next day. So my point is, I'm saying all this to say the conditions of trying to survive didn't didn't welcome a lot of the soothing and a lot of the therapy we needed in house because they didn't have it.
No, they didn't have it. What's up the tree? They didn't have it.
So we just basically we had to learn how to live with post-traumatic stress at 10, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old and not even know we have it. And then part of that, we couldn't focus in school. Part of that was probably the stress. You couldn't be yourself around your friends. That's post-traumatic stress. You can't live out who you are, or you can't express these feelings. And now you get grown, you get in college, and you still trying to figure it out. So,
and before you go, Kashar, the other thing I want to say that Jermaine hit on too is like when you trying to allow your kid to express something. So, like I said, I'm a fairly new father, and that's the thing I have to catch myself. Allowing my son to. I mean, of course, he's only one, but still learning when to allow him to cry. He fall down because, like you say, you grew up hearing like, "Yo, you're a boy. You want to go shake it off." And you start teaching this. And I get it. In some cases, I get the fact that you don't want no overly, sensitive kid.
and you don't want to be a helicopter parent either. I get that too.
Yeah, I'm not saying in a negative way, but I'm saying the way where you want them to have a little toughness to them, but also it's okay for your son or your daughter, either way, to be able to express themselves and allow and understanding that's part of them learning themselves and growing and allow them to flourish. And I think you have to figure that balance out. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we suppress a lot of stuff in our kids too, because we think we're making them tough for the world and all that. And I was like, you just got to find a happy medium when it comes to that. But yeah, Kashar, man, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, actually, y'all all touched on everything. Like y'all all hit the nail on the head with everything y'all were saying. But the one common thing that I heard y'all say, y'all were talking about how it affects somebody, later on in life. And I've been dealing with that. Like I'm 43. I've been trying to survive for 40 years because my trauma started at 3. And I was sexually abused by someone who I thought loved me. Like I looked up to this person. Mm-hmm. Like he was just like the best. Like, just that person you look up to, like you just that person I want to be around all the time.
Yeah.
He was that for me. Mm-hmm. And he took my childhood away from me at 3. At 3, I still remember it like it was yesterday. Like it's something you never forget. It's something you have to live with every day. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to explain. When y'all talking about the effects, like It does affect you and you don't even realize how it affects you. You know what I'm saying? Because that happened at 3. I was a very mature kid too. At 3, I was very mature. But you 3, so you don't understand certain things. But I remember him telling me specifically when it happened, he said, "You better not tell your mom, because if you do, it will kill her. If you tell her, I will kill her. If you tell her, I will kill you." And then the fourth thing he told me at 3. And then the fourth thing he told me, if you go around any little boys, they're going to either pick on you, call you names, embarrass you, try to fight you. So don't go around any little boys. Don't play around with the boys. So hearing that at 3, it happened that one time at 3, but this person, so of course I'm afraid. This person came in and out of my life throughout that time. So it wasn't like he was constantly there, but that incident happened at 3. But he still popped in and out. So every time I saw him, I got that same reminder that you better not do those 4 things. So imagine that you hearing that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mm-hmm. Look how that at 3 can manifest itself over time, and you believe in this stuff.
Of course.
So at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I'm a kid. Like, okay, I'm definitely not telling my mom because I don't want it to happen to her. I don't want it to happen to me, so I'm not saying anything. But then I still got the other part, don't go around the little boys because they're going to do this, this, and that to you. You know, it's going to find out, you're going to be embarrassed, ashamed, all that stuff. So I didn't, I stayed in the house a lot. I didn't play with any boys really. I played with girls a lot, and if I did play with boys, it was groups. It was always a groups, girls and boys together, because I couldn't. I was afraid to be alone with guys by myself because of what he had put in me and
At
that
3.
fear in me. Right. And so it just manifested itself. So I'm like, okay. So then, mind you, still during that time frame, things are happening. Now, keep in mind, my mom didn't have the conversation with me. You know what I mean? She, like I said, my mom was a good mom. She always provided for us. She did what she had to do. But that conversation was never had. You better tell me if someone does something to you. You know what I'm saying? That was never had. The most we got in our age group was don't talk to strangers. You know, you don't go nowhere with strangers, somebody you know. We got that talk because we was afraid of showing up on the milk carton, you know, but it was never if somebody touch you or make you touch them, you better tell me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get that. So that wasn't something that
I didn't
was
either,
in.
Casaro. I think my conversation we got was, hey, stay away from strangers, but it's never that. It was never that.
Right.
It was always
So
with family or friends.
exactly, but that's
They're the ones you gotta
I was
worry
with
about.
family. That's what I'm saying. It's not always a stranger, so you got to keep that in mind too. Anyway, I'm saying all to say, I'm going through all of that, and things you probably don't pay attention to. Like I'm sure my mom didn't pay attention, and she probably just thought I was just being a kid. So I remember first grade, I was defecating on myself. Like I would walk around the classroom and actually poop on myself, and I would like drop it on the floor to make sure nobody would see it. But I was doing that, and I was just like, at the time, I didn't know why I was doing it, but I was doing that. And I remember the teacher, sending letters home, saying, your son is pooping on the floor. You might want to watch him, blah, blah, blah. So, my mom had to talk like, what's going on? Maybe you constipated. What if she wasn't thinking about something could be wrong. Right. She wasn't thinking about that. Yeah. Third grade, I was writing like curse words on the wall. I ended up getting paddlings. Back then you could paddle and your parents would flip out. Definitely. So I got paddlings writing on the wall. I got in like fights, from like first grade to seventh grade. It was just something constantly going on, but you not knowing something's up with this kid.
And you can't tell them what's going on.
Right, but I'm a good student, but these certain things are happening throughout my childhood.
Behavioral.
Right. So it's affecting me, and we really not knowing what's going on. So of course, from 3 to 10, guess what? The abuser, he comes back. He has to come and stay with us for a little while. And man, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment at the time. So my mom and my stepdad's room, and then it was me and my brother's room. I had a twin bed. They had bunk beds. So this person had to come stay with us. And it happened again.
At 10?
At 10. 10, and I think I want to say at least a year, maybe. It was a long period of time because he was there with us for a long period of time, and he had to stay in our room. So I was waking up every night to endure this stuff. Right. And right under my mom and stepdad's nose, right in the same room with my brother sleeping. It was horrible. Like every night, a piece of my soul was just getting snatched away every night.
Every night.
So 10, 11, that's going on. Still not saying nothing, still afraid. And you would think at 10, 11, you could talk by that time.
But you would talk at 3.
Not the same time.
Right. So that happened, and then I remember he ended up leaving, but he left right before my grandmother died. And my grandma was the closest person in the world to me. Like the closest person. Not that I think she knew, but she did know. It's like one of them things like she always held me close, you know what I mean? And always told me don't ever let nobody, make you feel bad, don't have low self-esteem, always advocate for yourself, take up for yourself. So it's like she instilled those things in me, but I still had that fear of what, I was told at 3. So I remember the day that she died, right before he left, was the day before she died. And before he left, he said that same speech to me again. And I remember the next day my grandma died. And that was just like, pieces of my soul was already getting taken away each night. But that moment that she died, that day, Kisharo Alexander Easterling died. Like, that was it. I was done. Like, I was just a child existing in this world, not knowing what was going on. I had no emotion. I had nothing. Like, that was it for me. Mind you, I had 2 brothers by this time. So still not playing with boys, playing with the girls, and I'm always the husband, the doctor. I'm always that guy. So I'm like, okay, well, somebody wants me. I feel wanted, because that was the role I played when I did go outside. But I always held my brothers close. Like, I kind of manipulated them as young boys. They probably don't realize it, but once they hear it, they might. I didn't want them to go outside because I was afraid of what could happen to them. Like, I sheltered them because I was afraid what happened to me was going to happen to them. Like, I never wanted to let them go. Never. So I'm just trying to, give y'all the story so you can see the effects of it. So 10, I'm done. Like, I'm just existing. So I remember I turned 13. We moved again because we moved a lot. And I'm home watching my brothers. My mom is at work. My stepdad is at work. And I was watching the Sally, what's her name?
Jesse
Raphael.
Yeah.
Yes. I was watching that show, and they were talking about child molestation and how it's suppressed, and a lot of it you don't remember, but at some point it will come back to you. So I remembered everything from like the 10, 11 range, but I forgot all about what took place at 3. Like, I forgot all that until I watched that show. And it all came back to me in that moment, and I broke down. Like, the fear of telling my mom was gone. I called her at work. I was crying. I told her what happened. She rushed home. My stepdad rushed home. I told him I couldn't hold it in anymore. It was killing me. Like, it was literally killing me. Like, because like I said, I'm just existing at this point. Like, I'm just a kid, just in this world, just here, not doing nothing. So we talked, we had the conversation, we prayed together. I remember that. But from that point on, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to him. I never saw him again, ever. I don't know what they did. They said they handled it. That was it. But the piece that was missing was the help. Like, I needed to get help because I'm still dealing with this situation. You know what I mean? So it really wasn't dealt with as far as me. So the summer, starting high school, things start to get a little better for me. As far as like, okay, I told my mom I'm good. Let me try to do some stuff I never did before. So what I do, I go out and try out for the football team, the JV team, high school. I made it. I played 2 years. I started finding those bonds with dudes, and I'm like, okay, this ain't so bad. But I'm still guarded. I'm still guarded. Like, I'm not doing too much. I can play. I'm gonna play on this team with y'all, but it stops there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing nothing else. And the other things started happening too. Like, these same girls I was playing with growing up. We all in high school now. I'm looking at them like, y'all starting to look different to me now. Like, so, bodies
chest started to poke out.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so let me try my hand in this, but it's too late by this time because you in the friend role.
Right.
Like,
you the homie.
I don't see you like that. What? No. So that's what it was. My entire like high school career until I got my first job working at Burger King. And I met these 2 dudes. They're great guys. And I started to feel like, like, these are some cool dudes. Like, dudes are not as bad as it was in my head. Like, I thought it was going to be. Like, they cool. Just kind of like they were just mad cool. When I was like,
so like one of the guys type deal. You felt like
it was like cool because keep in mind, all through elementary, middle school, anytime that I hung out with guys, it was like in PE. And you playing basketball, you got to pick who you want on your team.
Right.
I was always the guy who got picked because I was the tall dude. And mind you, I couldn't play no basketball, but I could play some hella defense. Like, I was good at that, and they knew that. So I always got picked for that. So it was kind of like, okay, you accept me, but you only wanted me for this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason. It was never like, yo, you want to hang out? Like, you want to come to my house after school? It was never none of that. It was always, I need you because you can do something for me. You know what I mean? To benefit me. But when I met Aaron in 6ix9ine, it wasn't like that. It was just like they kind of just like, yo, you cool? You want to hang out? It was all of that. So it started to feel somewhat natural. Exactly, it was natural. Still guarded, but it was natural. Yeah. So all that time passed by. It's time to come to North Carolina Central University, and I meet Jamie Patterson, Jermaine Jones, and everything I felt with Aaron in 6ix9ine, I felt it, but it was like times 10, if that makes sense. It was just like, I had conversations with y'all. Like I never felt like I had to be anything but myself. You know what I mean? I never felt like I was being used to anything. Yeah. It just felt good. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, and that's what it was. What I said,
let's go. We ride.
You taught me. You was always like, yo, let's come on, let's do this. What you waiting for? Let's go. Like you was that dude who just, you know, you really made me think differently. You always push me. Anytime you felt something was wrong, you'd be like, dog, come on, don't worry about it. Come on, don't sweat it. That was you. You was always like, let's go work out and walk a complex. We did that. Let's go play racquetball. I was like, I don't know how to play racquetball. I'm gonna teach you.
Me neither.
Yeah. So you did that. You know,
we'll learn today.
Me, I felt good about that. You know, I felt we had a connection. Jermaine, same thing. You taught me things. You always kept me straight with the haircuts. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I did learn from you, which I think I went overboard with it, to this day, you was like, you got to always have a fresh pair of Reebok Classics. You told me that. And my dumb behind, like, I had every pair in the world of type of Reebok Classics, not thinking, oh, you can have other kind of shoes too, but I always had the Reebok Classics.
Got these classics done.
So he was like that, you know, and then my sophomore year, Kwame, I met you, and it was just like, you kind of gave me like a sense of purpose again, like what I felt with my brothers. I kind of felt that, even though we only like 12 months apart, but you made me feel like that big brother in a sense again. You know what I'm saying? You know, you taught me about books, and about art, and about geography, and about history. It was just like, I just learned a lot from y'all. You know what I mean? And I feel like once it clicked for me, and we talked about this on another show, it clicked for me when we went to Freaknik, and I felt whole again. Like, those pieces that got chipped away, like it all came where it needed to be.
Oh, that scattered ass down there did it.
So, it was just like everything just came into place. So I just feel like I really feel like I just owe y'all a lot. Like y'all really do not understand. Like I feel like y'all kind of saved me in a sense, because I didn't want to leave Greenville, like, because I wanted to, but I didn't. I did not want to leave because I did not want to leave my brothers. But I felt like if I stayed, I was literally going to die. Like, I could not stay there because the memories of all that, it was just too much for me to bear. But I had to, you know what I'm saying? I felt guilty for leaving them. But I kind of felt like they're at a certain age, I could still reach out, you know, and check on them. But I would have died if I stayed there. And so coming to North Carolina Central, yeah, meeting y'all, it was what I needed. I had to. I felt like I was growing, you know, as a man. But one thing I didn't tell y'all through those 4 years of, you know, our friendship or whatever, I was going to therapy. Like, one thing I was like, I'm determined. I'm going to get help for this, and I'm going to work this thing out.
And you went to therapy.
I was going to therapy.
I need to stop you here. You went to therapy in 1996.
That's way before it's fashionable.
Come on now. Let's talk about how ahead of the game you were.
Yeah, because
where were you going?
I'm about to tell you. Oh. The good old Lincoln Medical Center, right?
Oh, right. That's right. Come on through.
That's where you're going?
That's
there about Winn-Dixie.
Physicals, to get online, you got to get a physical.
Yeah, I went there.
Lincoln, salute.
Yeah, a lot of times y'all thought I was going to class. I would have been, but I might have dipped out early or whatever. But I was going to Lincoln Medical Center, like, for 4 years, from like 96 to 99. Yeah, 96,
That's
99.
impressive.
I was going to, and I was just like, and I wanted to tell y'all, but it's like, it's timing. You know what I mean? Everything is a timing.
But you don't have words for this. And
Yeah, and it's hard because you don't know how it's going to be received because,
that too.
like I said, child abuse, any type of trauma, it affects you. You know what I mean? But that sexual abuse, that shame, that embarrassment, that feeling of being alone, like it's a lot that comes along with that. You know what I mean? It's a lot. But I was one determined brother. I was like, yo, like you need to get help because you're not gonna be no good to nobody if you don't.
And Kisharo, you know what? I think the fact that even back then, I think you said it. I think when you leaving high school, meeting those two guys, I think that's kind of where that strength to even want to just be to live, right? I think that's when it came. And I think then when you come to NCCU and you meet people and then you meet us, I think the willingness to you see us giving life and receiving life from each other. And I think that was just paramount for you to, you know what I mean? Because who at 18, 19, like you gotta have
that
some
type of strength.
You understand what I'm saying? That's powerful as hell, man. And I definitely salute you. And you right. This is new to us. I know I didn't know.
No,
I had no idea.
he
We
just
thought
confessed today. This is new information.
Yeah, very few people knew. Very few people knew. But I just felt like it kind of came up because I had a conversation with my brothers and they were talking about me coming home. And I think my middle brother Lionel was just like, well, I know you're not going to come home because you never come home. And I'm just like, well, why you say that? And I was like, he was like, because you never come home. So in that conversation, because I'd already told them, they knew about what happened. But in that conversation, they were just like, you don't come home because of what happened to you. We know, it's a trigger for you. And I was like, it is, you know what I mean? Like, there's definitely a trigger.
Yeah.
And I go home because my mom's there, but I don't go home often. And it's just something still there that just will not allow me to.
Yeah, that's right.
I just can't. When I'm there,
it's
I'm in and out. Trust me. Like I'm in and out. I don't even really want to go nowhere. When I go there, I want to stay in the house. Like I don't. I will go. I will say when I do go home, one of the guys I was telling you about, Aaron, that I met at Burger King, I will contact him, and we have gone out to dinner a couple of times. But outside of that, if I go to Greenville, I'm in the house. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just don't go there too often, and I feel bad because because my mom.
You don't have to apologize.
But she understands. You know what I mean? And I feel bad for if I get my kids because I'm like I want them to go to grandma's house more than they do, but I think they so used to what it is, and I don't even think it really matters because they see her, they know her, so it don't really matter. But it still affects there of this trauma that I'm still dealing with, to this day. Like the hard part, I think I got through, but like I said, it feels like a scarlet letter, and you never get over it. Yeah. It's gonna always be something that triggers it. And so like recently, y'all know my dad passed away. I got triggered because when he passed away, one, I felt like I never got a chance to tell him about this, and I wanted to. And then two, I was angry. I was so angry, like I said, the defecating on myself, writing the curse words on the wall. I was acting out. I was angry at him because I was like, yo, if you were here, this wouldn't have happened to me. But then I had to step back and be like, well, you could have been here and it could still happen because I was still home.
You were still home.
Waking up every night 2 feet away from my mom's bedroom, and this was happening to me. So it really didn't matter if he was there or not. But I had to, do some self-reflecting, like, yo, I can't even be mad at him because whatever reason he wasn't there, that was his reason. But this still could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, man, we definitely appreciate you sharing it. Cause that's not an easy thing to talk about. Like I said, and some things you're saying definitely make sense. Like even when we was in school, even like I said, I know you don't go home that often, whatever. And even when we was in school, the pressure I always got, like you really didn't care being there, and so it all makes sense, But we definitely, man, it's brave that you actually share something like this, whatever and stuff, man.
Yes.
Like you still never know what people, you don't know what people really going through, and even the fact that you just saying like you went to like you said to this counseling 4 years before it's fashionable to get counseling, like
20 years. We've been in school since '95. It's 2020. That's 25 years ago. So he was there 20 years. It's fashionable now. Exactly. You say my therapist now, but you wouldn't say that 5 years ago. Certainly not 95, 96.
Definitely want to say it back then, you know what I'm saying? Because people, but definitely, man, I think that's good, the fact that you actually trying to help yourself, be in a better place and everything else.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And I want to help other people too. You know what I mean? That's what the whole point of me sharing, because I was like,
Right.
we
It's not a scarlet letter.
black men do not want to talk about this. And I get it. I totally understand why you don't want to talk about it, but you need to talk about it to somebody, because it's gonna eat you up, and it's gonna resurface somewhere else in your life. So
Yeah, whether it be alcohol, drugs,
yeah,
or
it's
even
gonna
you doing it. That's what happened to R.
That's
Kelly
what Trump.
because he
That,
was
Mhm.
traumatized, and
You
it came
got-
out in the form that it came out in.
Exactly. You got to talk to somebody. If it's a close friend, a preacher, therapy, whatever. Talk to somebody. Just get it out. That's I
Off of
cannot
you,
stress
yes.
that
And
enough.
hurt people, and then you're right. If you don't talk about it, you'll be uh, running people off in your personal world and social world, and
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
still, like I said, my wife. I'm married. And it's hard to like. Sometimes my wife will go touch me, which I love her to touch me, but I'll jump, and she's like, "Why are you jumping for it?" And it's like those are still things
Yeah.
that I deal with.
You have to
what I
answer
mean?
for at 43.
Right, every day. You know what I mean? Just like I'm not the most affectionate person, but I'm trying to get better with that. You know what I mean? And women love affection, so that's one thing I have struggled with like for years, that I'm trying to get better with. So the effects will always be there, but I just can't stress enough for people to go and get help. Like you need that help. Talk to somebody, and hopefully after the show, whenever we do like the promos and stuff, I got some numbers and some hotlines,
Some phone numbers,
websites.
yeah.
Yes, that to
we
give
do
people
need to
like
be clear about
yeah.
where friends can go and we can share, so other friends may tell somebody to
Yeah, so you
go
can
to the
definitely
right
talk to
people,
somebody and find
right
somebody in your
numbers.
local area. Because, like I said, I was determined to talk to somebody, and
And I'm
I
so
couldn't. I
impressed
was
by
in
that.
school. I couldn't afford no therapy, but Lincoln, there was somebody there who provided that
Yeah.
space for me.
I'm impressed with Lincoln. Thank God for Lincoln. Lincoln, let's give Lincoln his props. Lincoln is a minority. They assist minorities in the Durham
Hey.
community with therapy. If
Dental, I
you have an
believe.
ailment, you're sick or whatever, and in my case, I had to go there to get a physical
of course,
to pledge. But it's a local community hospital in Durham off of Fayetteville Street. We need to give Durham its props. I mean, Fayetteville Street alone, you got an elementary school, a hospital, a middle school, a high school, and a major university all on one street. And you don't have to go far to get what you need as far as education or medication. In this case, you needed therapy, and it was at Lincoln Hospital. Who would have thunk it? Lincoln Community Center.
Yeah,
So,
it
definitely
definitely is.
helped me.
that means a lot.
And that'd be a different topic as far as that area that Jamie just named, which is also another Black Wall Street back in the day.
Yes,
Everybody
that's
talk
right.
about Tulsa, but Durham also had Black Wall Street too. But
And
we'll talk about a different show.
we'll say
Since we give them
all right.
shout outs.
Yeah, for most sure. And like I said, Jermaine's supposed to be helping me work on some stuff. Like this story is deep. It goes so deep that I just wanted to give y'all a brief because y'all my brothers. So I just wanted y'all to know. Something I've been wanting y'all to know for a long time. So I feel at peace about it now. I'm glad it's out. And so hey, anything y'all want to talk about or no, please ask. I'm an open book.
All right, friends, listeners. I have no segue. I'm not a segue king like Jermaine.
Jermaine hit segues, boy.
My man is the segue king over here. I wish I could segue. But I'll pose the next topic. Name the celebrity you would enjoy spending time with for a day. So, Kwame, name the celebrity you want to kick it with for the day.
Yeah, it's easy. And I'm gonna say this celebrity want to hang up if I was, of course, single.
That's fair.
Freaking Ray J.
Yo, that's deep. Please expound.
Yeah, Ray J.
And
it's so funny because like you said, back at the time
Ray
when
J or 2020 Ray J.
What's the first Ray J said?
The one that got the porn tape with his
Kim K.
with Kim.
That Ray J.
Party
Ray J. Party Ray J. That's what I'm talking about.
Not Brandy's brother. So he want Kim K. Brand.
Well, I think it was funny because like everybody look at him, during that period of time as Brandy's brother, the little brother though. But like, Ray J looked like if you just want to have a good time, just hang out. And I ain't saying you have to wild out, but he's so over the top as far as like it's gonna be nice cars there, it's gonna be a nice mansion. You know,
Yes.
it's going to be, of course, a whole lot of beautiful, you know, ladies there, the drinks, everything. So just like, I would enjoy just seeing all the stuff that he would provide as far as entertainment and having a good time and everything else. He's like a blast to hang out with, whatever and stuff. And that's the only reason why I think, you know, because it's just like he's funny as, you know, too as well. So yeah, I know it's probably ain't people's top list, but I had
It's
one.
so out there, but it's like, yeah. But
Hey,
the
but
funny
that's your
thing is,
person.
Kwame, that hell, if you hang around long enough, you probably end up kicking it with Ray J.
So I'm saying, man. So like I said, and also I give him props because he also an entrepreneur. He always on his grind too. Like he always
Oh yeah,
come with ideas and everything. And that's probably more older Ray J versus party Ray J.
yeah.
Look at that party in them, whatever and stuff. And not that I like to party a lot, but I'll say that if I was, you know, of course, single, a little bit younger, Ray J, like he'd be, you know, a fun person just to hang out with and just have a good time. He'd be out in LA and just you know, just hanging out,
Kicking it,
kicking it.
run into
That's
Ray
it,
J,
simple.
and you take it to some
Yeah.
fucking party mansion.
There we
Jermaine,
go.
name the celebrity you want to enjoy the day with, or spending time with for the day. For a day.
Sanaa Lathan. Listen,
Oh,
I was gonna say James Baldwin,
okay.
but I'm gonna say Sanaa Lathan. I'm talking about the love of basketball, Sanaa Lathan, right?
The young and tender.
The young, exactly, and we'll start the day out doing some yoga, hot yoga, and
Hot yoga.
going to brunch, and I, you know, I want her to, I would want her to get her hair fixed and just like let me smell her hair after she.
You want to sniff it?
A pressing curl or whatever you got.
Yeah, all that.
Pressing something.
And listen, but no, real talk. But you know, cause she mad smart. I think she did Yale and just like experiences, man, and just talk about, you know, certain things from her. You know, what let her down. Well, I think her dad wasn't her dad a movie producer or actor or something.
Probably.
Not sure.
But yeah, she just seems like she's cool. She's a dope woman, man. Obviously, she's attractive. And just and kick it, man. Kick it with her all day. So
Sanaa Lathan.
Hey, that's what I want to say about that though. I know I get killed for. First of all, I think she is a beautiful queen. You know what I'm saying? And I think she's a great actress and everything.
Yeah.
The only negative. My only
Here we
negative is Sanaa Lathan. I know she's not my pick, but like I said, my only negative, I think Sharp already know what I'm about to say. I don't know if you know. But like I said, so you know, normally I'm a hands and feet person, whatever, and stuff like that. Yo, man, I can't get past her thumbs, man.
What kind of thumbs she got?
I'm gonna let them joints out. What kind of thumbs?
Yeah, you can look it up. She got a condition with her thumbs.
She got a condition with her thumbs.
Yeah, and it's
So
like
they're the oval joints?
Yeah, it makes it like
like toe thumbs.
No, it's like I think it's like genetic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because I know what you're talking about.
She been had them.
Some white gay.
Yeah, she probably born like that. It's called.
Yeah, she definitely born like that. Some white lady that was in the movie Transformers, little white girl. She got what they call toe thumbs. They're really ugly thumbs.
Hey man, let me get these thumbs up, man.
Yeah, she got the. It's the definition for it, whatever and stuff too. And like I said, I'm not shaming her nothing like that because outside she's still beautiful and everything else. But you know what I mean?
She gonna see this too.
Huh?
She gonna see this podcast too.
I know, man. She gonna hate me, man. But like I said, I mean, you know, of course, I mean, I love, you know, I ain't trying to like downgrade it, but that's the only thing that every time I feel like, dang, that's your thumbs. It kind of like throws me off a little bit. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't say, you know,
club thumbs.
Oh yeah, those are really bad,
man. Yeah, and all I keep thinking about yeah, so if she touched you with those thumbs, man, it might be a lot.
Oh no, for that.
That's the only thing, man.
With surprising body features, and those thumbs are bad.
Hey man, I just got to put some mittens on them joints. Them mittens got the four.
Yeah,
hands.
you see them joints. Yeah, she got a little small fingernail on a thumb joint.
Yeah, man. Hey man,
want to cut it off.
Mittens on them joints.
Yeah, but you know, I feel kind of bad I said it, but I'm just being real.
Hey man, hey Quan, I just wouldn't bring around you, yo. I just
nah, man. Thumb too, yo.
You keep bringing the pictures, showing them.
Still want to cut it though.
Yeah, man. But you know what? I think she's subconscious of herself. A lot of times, because once it was brought to my attention, like I was like, "What's up with her thumbs?" But this even without me knowing anything. I kept seeing them. And then when I looked it up, I realized she had something going on too. But then I've been paying attention to her movies. I think she does a real good job trying to hide her thumbs too.
Oh, what?
You
I
won't
never
even
noticed
see
that.
them
It's a
like that.
clubbed
This
thumb,
is my
like
first
Jermaine
time
said.
ever hearing this dude. Like for real. Wow.
Okay,
Yeah, we here to inform each other,
Jermaine,
yo.
Jermaine, your girl got clubbed thumb. How you gonna act? I bet you them toes is clubbed too.
I hope not.
I don't know what her feet look like. That's my
That's
thumb
a
brother.
deal breaker. That's a deal breaker right there. You can't have both now. God, you got
Hey,
Well, I know you like feet, man. So I don't know. Like, yeah, that might be
yeah,
a
but
wrap
they
for
can't
you,
be clubbed
Jermaine.
up though, man. They gotta be right.
He
nah,
said
she got
clubbed
nice
up.
toes, y'all.
Her toes cool.
Toes are cool, bruh.
All right,
Toes.
Listen, but
all
I'm
right.
just saying,
Oh
like
my god,
this,
y'all stupid.
this part right here, like
Okay,
I can if I'm
we'll
focusing
get
on,
past that thumb, won't we?
yeah, we can get past the thumbs, man. But
Okay,
the
if you're
mitten,
listening to us, if you're streaming us, please pull up Sanaa Lathan thumb. It's called a club thumb.
y'all crazy, yo.
Just
So,
educating the people on club thumbs.
Right.
She gonna
Just salute her,
she gonna
man.
get cut
Just
though.
salute her. Shout out
Yeah.
to Sanaa.
Sanaa Lathan with the club thumb.
Jesus.
Wow. Kisharo, who
Oh
are
my
you
gosh,
spending your day
y'all.
with?
I had 3, but it's because I was torn. So if I could go spend a day with Will Smith and Oprah together,
Okay.
I would be like in heaven for several reasons. One, they both, when I listen to them talk outside of the acting and the TV stuff, like I can just sit and listen to them talk like all day. You know, it's like I feel like I'm always being like educated on something. Like I love to listen to people talk, and I love learning stuff. And I just feel like those just 2 people. Anytime they talk, I'm listening, and it's kind of like I always walk away with something, even if it's something small, to gain from them. And you know, Will is funny too. So if I could just spend the day with both of them, I'll be great. So those are my 2. My third one, my wife is gonna hate, but if I could spend a day with Zoe Saldana,
Zoe.
butter.
Which era
I could
of
like
Zoe?
I could just
Wasn't
look at her
Zoe
all
in
day.
He love her.
she was
boy.
in Drumline?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
and she
that
was
Zoe though. I like Colombiana Zoe though.
Catalina.
What about
Yeah.
Avatar's on Zoe?
So not the
Yeah,
Avatar Zoe?
No, I can't see her, but
Was she like an alien or something?
well, yeah.
He likes
She was a
Caucasian men.
Smurf. She was
But
8 foot
that's the
tall
only reason I went
Smurf.
and saw that movie though, because she was in it. So
Still want to cut her
She
though.
like white dudes? That what
I
Jermaine
think
said?
so.
yeah,
I think
Spanish.
so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I know.
Maria. Yeah.
But yeah, so those are mine.
Okay. So I have 2.
All right.
And they're for 2 obvious reasons. Number 1 is Damon John. I want to pick his brain because he's a very smart guy. We kind of look alike. So if you had to look at me, my doppelganger would be Damon John and Blair Underwood. So you just gotta.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And the second person would be Stedman Graham because I just want to see what my life is gonna be like
Young
when we get
Stedman.
this bread.
Young Stead.
And I do want to meet my namesake. You know, he blessed me with the name, so I just want to know how is it being rich and just chilling. You know. Because Stedman's a cool motherfucker. He don't need nobody. He don't need no money because Stedman was already getting it off. And just for the record, I need people to recognize this. Gail is Oprah's rich friend.
That's right.
She's not the hanger-on. Gail taught Oprah how to handle her money. Gail's family is rich. They're from Connecticut. And she had a housekeeper growing up. So Gail's not the hanger-on. Gail taught Oprah how to be
Gail had money, yeah.
Right.
Oprah was the one. Yeah,
that.
Oprah was the one who came from nothing. Yeah.
Right. Oprah's the one that came from, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you got to recognize who friends are in people's lives, and
that's right.
And Gail's the rich friend, so let's be clear about that. And Stedman is the
hanger on,
the beneficiary of this incredible work that she's put down for all these years. Somebody got to do it. Might as well be Stedman.
Isn't Stedman from Winston-Salem or something? Or living?
Well, his family's from North Carolina. Matter of fact, Miss Sadie Graham is from Red Springs. His aunt, she lived down the street from us.
Okay.
And he visited town when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's your distant cousin then, huh? You know,
probably.
It could be, Red
Springs, I feel like that. Anybody that come out of Red Springs is my cousin.
Yeah. There you go.
Come out of there and you're out in the world and you are, you know,
Exactly.
my cousin.
So we all going full circle here. I got that. Okay, makes sense now.
Here we are. I
Didn't
ain't
know
even
he
recognize
he
that.
had family in Red Springs.
Yeah, Stedman, his aunt, she passed. Miss Sadie Graham, she lived right down the street from us.
Oh man. Oh,
That's what's up.
Right
man.
next to my homeboy, Courtney. He like 2 rows down from Courtney
Yeah.
on 71st, on 71. I was 71.
all right, man.
All right, fellas. So y'all know what time it is.
What time is it? You got the music, Kwame?
Nope.
God.
We're gonna get that music. It's cool. It's cool. It's time for our dose of dopeness segment. And today we are going to highlight a charity that I am affiliated with. I have actually worked with them before, and it was created by a good friend of mine named Tavares Taylor. And the name of the charity is called TT Charities. And they are a 501c3 organization that focuses on improving literacy for adults and children, combating poverty and hunger, and providing basic needs to improve the quality of life for all people. And some of the things that they have done, every year they do like a Toys for Tots for the Children's Hospital in DC. When the last shutdown that took place, I helped them with this one. We gave out food, hot food, groceries, and gas cards to all the people who were affected by the shutdown. And currently, what they've been doing, they have this initiative going right now for COVID with the PPE. And as of yesterday, they have passed out over 5,000 masks all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
That's what's up. That's a lot of masks, y'all. Numbers matter.
Yeah, so he is definitely doing his thing. So if anyone would like to donate to help keep this charity going, you can go to www.ttcharities.org and you can just go on there, find out information. You can just, if you want to make a donation, hit the donate button. And you can also find him on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at TT Charities. So again, it's ttcharities.org. And that is our dose of dopeness highlight for the day.
Tavares, it's good stuff, man.
Word up,
That's
bro.
good, man.
Lupe, he's a Kappa, so he's a good guy.
Putting in work.
I like Kappas. They're cool.
What's up, man?
So any final words, fellas?
I thought you said some numbers you had wanted to say towards the end.
Right, those
did I? Oh yeah. See,
you got them?
Yes, I do. I'm glad you said that. So for anyone who is looking for support who's been affected by child abuse, sexual abuse, or you may know someone who's been affected, or if you want to find out a place you could go near you just to talk to somebody, you can actually go to your local child advocacy center. If you don't know what that is, you can go to www.nca-online.org, or you could just call. You could dial 1-800-239-9950, or you can dial 1-800-4A-CHILD. Again, if you have been abused, know someone who's been abused, or suspect someone who has been abused, you can call those numbers. Again, they are 1-800-239-9950 or 1-800-4A-CHILD.
Got it.
What's up?
All right, man.
Got it. Good episode, guys. We made a lot of headway on this one, man. This is major.
Yeah, man. Amazing.
This might be the longest one yet.
Yeah, follow us. Follow us and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, 4 Times Dope Podcast.
Yes, or if you have any questions or comments about this episode or any other episode, you can always email us at 4timesdopepodcast@gmail.com.
Cool. Good stuff, man. Until
Hey, it's
next
good
time.
stuff tonight, fellas.
All
Yeah,
right.
man.
No doubt.
Next week.
Peace.